Yo, what's going on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Rock the Mic podcast, all hip hop, all the time. I'm your host, as always, Mike. And before we get into it, I just want to say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. We haven't been recording that much over the break. I was on break. So I decided to just take a little bit of time. I got my wisdom teeth out. So just took a little break from the pod for a little bit, but we're back. And it's a new year, new us. And to start off the new year, I've got an artist that I've been wanting on the show for a while now, probably since episode, I think it was 8 that we filmed with Lloyd OP, but we're here finally with another Charlotte artist, my man, Shmoneymo. What's going on?
Good? It's young Shmoneymo on Rock the Mic podcast. Thanks for having me today.
Of course, man. Like I said, I've been trying to get this in the works for a while. It just hasn't been working scheduling wise, but we're here finally, and that's all that matters. Really excited to have you here today. I really appreciate you taking your time out. And, how are you doing? Let's start there.
Wow, man. I'm glad you asked me that. Trying to keep up with school, just juggling school music. But other than that, I'm really pushing. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. School and the pod, I'm trying to balance between them too. So that's just how it is going on in the year. But let's jump into it. So when did you decide to start making music, and then who could you point to as kind of an influence on your art?
When did I start making music? I'd say the summer of 2018. And that's in the fall of 2018 was when I actually just started dropping on SoundCloud. I remember, and I've said this so many times when people ask me, but we really started this shit in the basement. Shout out Faisal Karshi. I don't know if you know him, but we used to go to his crib. We used to be in his basement, and he had this microphone with this pop filter, and it was me, him, it was Sam, Roop in the Stew, Philip Hazel, Dollar Phil, and Lloyd would later be thrown into the mix. And really, that's just where we started. I remember I had heard a song called Waterbender by my boy Rich Karshi, and I heard it, and I went on the SoundCloud, and I called him. I was like, yo, this shit is fire. I need to be on the remix or something like that. And then that's just really where it started. I just came over. We started recording stuff for the fun of it.
Okay. That's pretty okay. I mean, that's partially what I love about music is that, it just starts from a passion of it. And especially with your career, and I know Lloyd is the same way, it's just a love for the music, love for the culture as well. Are there any artists that when you initially started, and even today, that you can point to kind of help you find your sound as far as your flow and production style and all that stuff? Is there anyone that you could really pinpoint?
I think that's a great question. I do a lot of different sounding music. And it really just depends on my mood. That's what it's evolved into. So if I'm feeling angry, I'm making an angry song, I'm raging. If I'm in my feelings, I'm making a sad song, I'm singing, I can sing. And then sometimes I just love to rap. Like I just love the classic rap, spitting bars. So I'd say biggest rap influence, biggest hip hop influence, I'd say either Kanye West or J. Cole for sure. I've always loved J. Cole artistically. I've loved his rap side of things. And as for Kanye, I think he's an amazing artist, just putting together these complex ideas into one album. That's always been something that I've been trying to mirror in my own work, just trying to make a solid theme, whether it's the fighting theme in Mo Power, or just the engine, the car, the machine theme in Overdrive. I try to make sure that my music has some sort of digestible theme or message.
Yeah, that's actually something I love about not only your music, but just kind of music in general, just kind of some overarching message and theme, and just to be consistent throughout the entire body of work. And I think I actually ask a little bit more about that in depth later on, but that's something I really appreciate about your music. And this is actually something that I didn't write down for the interview, but my girlfriend would kill me if I didn't ask you, where did you come up with the name Shmoneymo? Because when I told her I was interviewing Shmoneymo, she's like, I really like that name. Like, that's a really cool name. And she was saying it how you were like Shmoneymo. She was even saying it like that too. Yeah. So she would kill me if I didn't ask. So I didn't write this down, but off the dome question, where did the name Shmoneymo come from?
To be honest, it just came out my ass. I'm not even gonna lie. Like we were just in the basement again, and I wanted something cool. I didn't want to say Lil Mo or like Young Mo or like just some like generic shit. I don't know where Shmoneymo came from, but I said it and it just stuck on the track.
Gotcha.
I thought I was gonna change it. I never changed it since 2018. It never changed. And I actually just started saying Shmoneymo. I just started saying it like that on Overdrive. It's just like, and that's the inflection that really just everybody knows now. Because I say
exactly.
Now.
She was excited about this one. When I was interviewing Lloyd, I was talking about, he has his friend Shmoneymo, and she's like, Shmoneymo. She's like, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, it is cool.
I actually like the name. Trying to get
I'll show her. I'll show her this interview. She'll be excited. But let's get into a little bit about Step Back, which was your first single on the new year, which just came out recently, which I thought was great. And I thought it really embodied the energy that not only I feel like you want to capture throughout 2022, but I also want to capture the same energy and the same kind of motivation. Hold on, let's show them the shades real quick. You're looking like Daredevil right now. I see you. Anyway, but so Step Back. Let's talk a little bit about that and how did that come together?
Step back. So I'm glad that you also feel the vibes. The vibes on Step Back is we don't stop for nothing.
We ain't really stopping for nothing. I swear we bound to get somewhere. I swear we bound to do something okay. I just took a big fat step back. Oh my God, how did I just do that? It didn't happen overnight. I really been going bananas. I really been going in circles. I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to.
Like through every adversity, every hurdle, every self-doubt, every time things don't go as planned, we still don't stop. So that is like the main message. Step back is kind of like, I'm going to step back and look at how far I came, reflection. So that's just really, that song is me reflecting on the past year, just Overdrive and Overpowered, all of that. Just look how far the journey came. And now we aren't stopping for nothing. Like it's just full gas ahead, no brakes. So that's really just the vibe. Shout out Commence the Attack. Commence the Attack is my business partner for the studio. He does my beats. And yeah, he just snapped on that beat. I heard it. I love the synths. I love the sub bass. It's really just a nice, wholesome song. And we got that video dropping in less than a week.
Oh, word. I didn't even know there was a video. Okay.
I'd say a week and a half, no more than that.
And I know, did Joe Green, you know Joe Green?
Yeah,
he did the cover.
You know Cooler?
Yeah, bro. I went to elementary school with Joe.
Oh, wow. Small world. Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, man.
Joe Green.
I don't even remember how it came up, but I slid up on his story. I was like, you know Mo? And he was like, yeah, I just did the cover art. I was like, oh, I'm about to interview him. He's like, damn, that's crazy.
He doesn't even just do cover art. Like, bro, he's been styling my music video shoots for a minute. He styled Daydreaming. He styled Locked In.
Oh, wow.
Eat Dust. He styled the Overdrive shoot. He made the Overdrive pants, the Overdrive jacket. And he styled the Step Back shoe. He took photos for me for a bit, and this was actually his first cover art. So I gotta hand it to Joe. There's few people creatively that I'm just like there with.
Yeah.
He's very much a creative and hardworking person.
Yeah, as long as I've known him, I feel like he's always been like that. And that, like you said, small world too. So shout out, Joe, if you're watching this, shout out to you, because
Too cozy.
Yeah, he's one of the drippiest white dudes I've ever met in my life. He has more drip than I do, so I gotta give him the credit. Yeah. For real?
Yeah, he gave me these glasses for the Overdrive shoot. He actually gave me some yellow ones before, and then I switched them out for the red ones.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
drippiest. I'm telling you, he can dress, bro. As long as I've known him too. It's like I said, small world. That's crazy. It's so crazy how I know these same people that run in your circles. It's crazy. It's that Charlotte connection.
Yeah, I used to work at Autobell with him. That's what it was.
Gotcha. Okay. Speaking of connections, Lloyd OP. You know, we've interviewed Lloyd on the show before, right. And my first exposure to your music was the song Overpowered, which the two of you collab on. We talked a little bit about this in the Lloyd episode, but I did want your perspective and your input. So how did you guys meet initially? I believe he might have mentioned like middle school or high school, but well, how did that come together?
We met at Piedmont And if anybody who went to Piedmont is watching, shout out Piedmont. That was just an open magnet school.
Yeah.
Some of the brightest minds I've met in my life, I've met at that school, but one of which was Lloyd. Lloyd was always just that guy, just freestyling in the back of the bus, every field trip, freestyling. Super animated, super funny character. And like back in middle school, I was really not the type to like step out my box, or like I was kind of very introverted. But I was still like a heavy geek. I was a geek, like reading like anime, like cartoons, like I was very hyperactive. And I mean, I guess we just attracted each other, bro. Like I think we had an English class together. That's what it was. And we used to just chop shit in that class. Like I remember me and him hung out with very different groups of people, but it was dope to just be able to meet him and just exchange good energy, laughs. I never thought I'd be doing music back then at all. I was like, nah. Me make music? Nah. It just happened organically. That shit's crazy.
Yeah. Well, he just has that energy. I agree with you. I feel like even because I haven't seen him probably since 6th grade prior to making the episode, and just like, and when I hopped back in there with him, like, I don't even know if he remembered me, but like we just started chopping it up. I think there's a whole part of our episode where we just started talking about how Biggie and Jay-Z met or something like that. Like it just felt natural and it felt right. Just like chopping it up, just talking like an old friend. And I think Lloyd has a really good, just like a vibe to him. And you feel the same way.
Yeah.
So it was organic, as you said, just like the two of you being friends in English class. Would you say it's the same as far as the musical chemistry? Did it kind of just stick together one day and just never came back apart?
So me and Lloyd had two very different musical backgrounds. Like I would just I mean, at the time, again, we were rapping in the basement, and our boy Phil, Dollar Phil, he was producing the majority of the beats that we were working on back then. Shout out Phil. But we met Phil by complete accident as well. Just like he walked up in the session and we was just working. I remember Lloyd always had just like the super deep rap flow, just like the super, layered bars and stuff. And I was just more like quick hooks, just like clever rhymes. So like creatively, it was always a great experience. And I remember we were working on one song in particular in Phil's house, and it just clicked. We were just like, damn, we sound really good on a track together, like actually. And you know, the more you do it, the more you tune in with each other's creativity. And now it's just effortless, honestly. We'll just be in the studio and just come out with a hit not too long after.
Yeah, I was good. Yeah, Overpowered, Locked In is another one that and the video too is just, I think I talk a little bit about that later too, but the video for Locked In, I think, is another great example of that. But I could, that's something you can feel in the music, and I really appreciate that about y'all, because it's just like a brotherhood that's represented musically, and it's obviously something that's not just for show, or it's like not something that you're only doing for the music kind of thing. It's like you can definitely feel there's a brotherhood there. So Lloyd, shout out to you.
I'm glad you noticed that.
Of course, man. I told you I do my homework. Like I take this shit serious. So I really pick up on that stuff. So yeah, I know you're watching, Lloyd. So shout out to my guy. Facts. So Overpowered, like I said, that was the first song I heard from you. And one of the things that initially kind of drew me in was I recognized that beat, obviously, because that was the initial beat was Uchiwali, the Nas and Braveheart song. And then also Cole used it on Album of the Year, Freestyle. So I wanted to see what made you end up choosing that beat. Like, well, how did that come together? And I'm curious how you were able to put that out, like on Spotify and streaming and stuff.
That's an interesting question. So I told you again, one of my influences is J. Cole. I love J. Cole's rap ability. Like, I feel like people don't really give him too much credit, but he's just so good, like with just flipping words on their back and just like double entendres and all that. So I had obviously heard Uchiwali, that's a classic. And then it was like years ago, J. Cole did the Album of the Year Freestyle leading up to KOD. And I heard that and I was like, wow, he just took this classic beat and just made a fucking hit.
Yeah.
Hit. And I've always admired him. So I remember hearing that and I was like, I'm gonna make a song this one day. I just like that was like years before I had ever like thought to make the song. But that song actually went through so many versions. There was like version 1, version 2. I wasn't really feeling it. And then eventually I just penned the verse that ended up being what it is today.
Throwback, I'm an illmatic with a pro skill and a kill tactic. You plateau cause I'm dynamic, can't control cause I'm erratic. You don't want smoke, they don't want static. Right-handed, voted democratic. Blow hard, make a nigga panic. Overpower niggas and we wreaking havoc. Pen game on 10 ho, always stay 10 toes. I ball like Lorenzo, niggas overdosing on benzos. Tryna provide for my kinfolk, in my state of mind I'm a schizo. Got a dumb bitch, she a bimbo, and she swinging low like limbo. I'm strong and determined, these bitches dirty like vermin. Let me take you on a trip with the bars, verbal excursion.
As far as how did I end up releasing it, so if you go on YouTube and you go to the video, you go to the description. I don't know. I think it's called UMG Records. I don't know who, but
yeah,
Oz and the Bravehearts owns the rights to that video. I labeled it in the description. This is a remix to Uchi Wally by Nas and the Bravehearts. So, you know, when I released it, I wasn't really too worried about like the monetary aspect of it. It was more of me just like, let me just flex my lyrical muscles on this classic.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, usually what happens is when you drop a song with someone else's beat, it just does not go through or it gets flagged or it gets taken down. But I mean, I guess since I labeled it remix everywhere that I dropped it, it was cool. Like they got their money, however small that is, because I don't get no millions of views. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it was able to get put out, and that kind of just taught me like moving forward, only use beats that you own, so you can own the rights to it.
Right, so you can make the bread off of it, because that's something I even was thinking about. Because when I started the Freestyle Fridays thing, like I think you mixed Lloyd's over the Cam beat, I think.
Yep, I did.
So that was a good mix too, by the way. When I was putting that together, I was like, man, I really want to hear rappers freestyling over classic beats. And
right.
So I put Lloyd over. I think we were deciding between that and the AT Aliens beat from Outkast. And I think I was like, let's start with the Cam beat. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, I really hope Cam doesn't like take this down. And that's why none of the Freestyle Fridays are on streaming, because I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna go over. But it's on Spotify, or not Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and all that, Instagram. So I was curious. I wanted to see how. So I guess you just labeled it as remix.
Well, yeah. So like on the distributor, you can actually label things as a remix. You can also label like who is the author of this beat. And I wrote the author of this beat, Shmoneymo, Lloyd OP, Easy LP. Easy LP is the original producer of the song. So like I feel like if you just give people their due credit, and you know, on YouTube and SoundCloud specifically, I made sure to label it remix. I do not own the rights to this beat. This is just for fun. Like I feel like people be getting too deep into the legal shit, which obviously like samples do have to get cleared professionally, like when you're actually doing it A-list, B-list level. But at the point we're at, we're just putting out a remix, and
we're just trying to show love at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I don't want to steal Just Blaze's publishing. Like I'm just trying to I'm just trying to hear Lloyd rap over a Cam beat. Like it's not that deep. Yo, Easy LP, that's a deep cut. I know his favorite, or my favorite beat of his is the Special Delivery by G Dep. That's so shout out. He's probably not gonna hear this, but shout out to Easy LP. I really appreciate you too.
Hey, you
never know. I might tag him in this. You might see it. Overdrive. Let's get into Overdrive. That's my favorite project of yours. It dropped back in May. Right. How did this come together? You know, how did you pick? We mentioned the themes and the overarching message. How did you determine those? How did you, the beats, the sequencing, the features, what songs to film videos for? Just how is this overall process for Overdrive? How did that come together?
Well, that's a very dense question. I appreciate it.
It's a lot to it.
Yeah. So I guess Overdrive, usually whenever I start a new project, I always come up with the name of the project first, always. So Mo Power, I would just sit in the studio and I was like, what sounds cool as fuck that has my name in it? Mo Power. And then I was like, after that, you know, after Mo Power, because up until that point, that was my best work. I had finished the rollout and I dropped, I believe the last video for that was Overpowered, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Overpowered. And I was just like, how am I going to come back bigger and better? And Overdrive is just kind of just, at the time I was going through emotional burnout. I was going through school burnout. I was just feeling all the emotions. I was just, I was facing adversity, a lot of adversity. And Overdrive was kind of me just saying, all right, let's kick it into high gear. We're not stopping. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it pushing. That was just the central theme of it in the beginning. The songs, they took like, I'd say it was in recording from October all the way through fucking when it came out in May.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I remember making Daydreaming the summer that I released Overpowered, like just on a whim. I never finished it, but like I usually would start a song and then just put it down for like months and then come back to it. I'm like, oh my God, this is a hit. So compiling the songs was very difficult. I had at least 2 or 3 versions of the album. A lot of songs did not make the cut, but I'm glad that whatever did make the cut, in due time, it ended up just fitting the theme of the album perfectly. Shout out Astronate. That was my main mastering engineer. I remember it was Ramadan and I was fasting all day. And at night, anywhere between 10 p.m. and like 4 a.m., he was just sitting down mastering that album track by track. It was so much intensive focus and dedication and work. So shout out to Astronate. He is a top tier DJ and engineer in the Raleigh area. As far as the features go, of course, I had to get Lloyd OP in it. I mean, that was no question. I've had him on every project thus far. I remember specifically for Locked In, we had come from doing a show that same day, and we just recorded the song in one night because we were so locked in. We were like, yo, we just came from a show. Let's hop on a fucking track, and then boom, shout out.
Energy just kept it going.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think that song is amazing because we finished in one session, deadass. I graduated in 88. He actually produced 4 of the tracks on the album. So working with a team of producers, anything from getting emails, and then I'm like, oh, I love this beat. And then sitting on it for 2 months. So just like the order in which the music came was very, I'd say hectic. It was very chaotic, but it ended up coming together, thankfully. Arrogant, that was another feature on the album. He was somebody that I met over quarantine, and I just started making music with him, and I found that our styles were very much similar, just like the punch and flow. So on Pimp, we were really just passing the mic around.
I noticed that too. I love that. I love hearing that on songs where rappers just go back and forth like that. I love it.
Right. Yeah, that was really just I don't even think I wrote anything down for that song. I just kind of we were just freestyling, and he would hop on for 3-4 lines, and I'd be like, yeah, let me get that, and then just go off what he did.
Gotcha.
But yeah. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, man. Look, Overdrive. Look, I like Mo Power. I like Legend of Mo as well. But Overdrive was just the one, man. Yeah. I don't know what it was. For me. It might have just been because I like kind of captured that same. Just gotta keep pushing, keep going. So that might have been just something I gravitated towards. But I think, of course, Overpowered is Overdrive is great. It's a great project. You mentioned kind of just putting everything together. It was a little bit of a hectic session, just kind of putting the album together from you said October to May, that's crazy. How important to you would you say sequencing an album? Do you think that's something that you kind of put as much time into as making the music itself?
I'd say that's very important. I've actually thought very hard about how my music flows. Everything from the Legend of Mo was sequenced. Mo Power was sequenced. I was like, I want this song to play this, then go into this, then go into this. So with Overdrive, the intro track, Eat Dust, I feel like when I made that shit, I was like, this has to be the intro because this is the vibe. It's like, like Overdrive, like very, very aggressive, very just, I'm going to talk my shit. So I think that was a perfect intro. And then it kind of just, I tried to sequence it in a way where the listener would get something different each song. So you go from Eat Dust, Team Shmoney, very upbeat, happy. Then, okay, back to Overdrive, we're not playing. And then go to Pimp. It's like, I'm on my pimp shit. I'm on my masculine shit. And then we go to fucking Accident. I'm just raging. I got a noise complaint. They about to kick me out. Song right after that, Sunshine. I'm euphoric. I'm happy. It's a great day. Like, it's just a very hectic. I'd say it's an emotional roller coaster. Honestly, I designed it that way because, you know, depending on how you're feeling that day, you might be on some Eat Dust or Overdrive shit, and then the next day you might be on Sunshine, Doubt It vibes. You know, you really never know. So I try to every other track, something new.
Yeah, it's got something for everybody.
Right, exactly.
And I appreciate that about that album as well. It's got a little bit of a mood for every mood that you need to be in.
Exactly.
But let's talk about let's compare and contrast a little bit. So when you listen to, you know, your earlier stuff like Legend of Mo, you know, comparing that now to Overdrive, like you can just hear the growth. Like you just the way I initially saw it when I listened to Legend of Mo and then I listened to Overdrive like directly after, because I knew I wanted to be able to compare and contrast
right
then and now. I can just hear it in your delivery, your flow, your cadence, the production. I could just hear everything is just elevated. So is there anything that you can point to that as like a specific growth moment? Like how would you say you've grown since Legend of Mo?
I think I'm glad that you point out Legend of Mo. I actually made Legend of Mo on my iPhone, like on GarageBand.
Oh wow.
I recorded it on wired Apple headphones, like the ones with the magnet.
Yeah.
I sit in my car and just record all the songs. Like it was not mastered. I just finger mixed it on GarageBand. I added like some minor effects, and like for some reason, like it was just still hitting. Like for whatever reason.
Yeah, I didn't even know you. If you had never told me you did that in GarageBand on your phone, I would have never known because it sounds good.
No, I appreciate that. That's insane. Like just how many streams it's gotten, and I look at it, I'm like, bruh, I made that shit in my car in high school. In fucking high school. This is before I had the studio booth, anything. Then I ended up going to NC State, you know, making connections with this producer. Again, shout out Astronate, shout out PM, just a couple engineers that I've ended up working with. You know, they really helped me learn the mixing and mastering side of things because that's so important. You're giving them a full product. NC State had a studio, they had all the equipment. They had all the DAWs, they had all the everything. So I would just be in there mainly. And that's where I recorded over half of the Mo Power album. And then coronavirus, they kicked us out. Then I was like, damn, I gotta get my own shit now. So I got my own starter kit. I got a boom arm. It was like something very minor, just like a mic, pop filter, headphones. But
yeah,
I finished the album on my own, finished recording it. And I was just sending tracks over to my engineers to mix, master, just so many versions. But I would say the growth and elevation of my team and just finding people who like my music just as much as I did, that was the pivotal moment of growth because now we're on the same goal. Like, yeah, Mo Power. Yeah, Overdrive. I feel you. Like, just the team is synergizing. And that's so important. You can't do this shit alone. I've learned.
Yeah, that's something I need to learn too. I can't do this all by myself, even if it's a podcast. Can't do it alone.
Exactly.
But that's nice. That's a good thought. I like that. You know, you're able to realize or recognize kind of I need a little bit more assistance. And that's something I go to UNCW. So that's cool that the school kind of had that outlet for you as well. I don't think we have something like that. Where was that at in the state?
Oh, so I mean, you can go to the library. You can go to DH Hill or Hunt. If anyone goes to NC State, y'all know. But they have studio booths. They have like isolated sound booths because they don't have a music major at the school. So they're like, all right, we got to give something to the creative department. And they give us the booths. And yeah, I mean, just to be able to go and sit in there and reserve a session and just sit in that box and just listen to beats. Like they had the best speakers. I remember turning the speakers all the way up. I love the loud music. So at least until I could get my hands on my own equipment, that was where I did all of the creative outlet.
I see. So you said almost all of Mo Power was recorded in there, and then how many songs did you end up having to do on your own?
So like 5.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
I finished the album.
Gotcha. And then obviously Overdrive you did in your own booth.
Yep. That was all in-house production, which was
that's dope.
Probably the most difficult thing I had to deal with. There was a lot of problems recording Overdrive because I was recording in my dorm room. I had a mic with a pop filter.
Yeah.
No sound canceling in the room. So there was a lot of echo. There was just like
yeah.
Logistics was a big part of what songs made the cut, because some songs, I was certain distance away. Some songs,
Right.
it was just a hassle. But once I figured out, okay, this is how to get rid of the background noise. That was what really took me to the next level.
See.
I actually have this right here.
Yeah, let's see.
This thing right here. This is a windscreen.
Okay.
This right here cancels up to 60% of the background noise. I use it in my booth.
Damn.
Now the sound is A1 crisp. I highly recommend any artist get a windscreen. You can get one for $5. This one is
Wow.
this one is like
That's
$50. But I mean,
It's
like,
a bougie one.
you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But yeah, this shit right here, this really, when I got this in the middle of recording Overdrive. And I know, I was like, when I record with this thing on the mic, it sounds so much better. And we just kept it rolling.
It's a game changer.
Exactly.
I fucks with it. Let's talk about your videos, because that's honestly one of my favorite things about Shmoneymo, is because a lot of artists I've interviewed don't actually have any music videos to their name, or certainly not any, like, I don't want to say big budget, but like definitely that's, for lack of a better term, big budget videos. And that's partially why I became such a fan, because your videos are crazy and I love them. And I think they're great. I'd be sitting there watching them and I'm just like, the way they're shot, just the way they're edited as well. And I'm just like, man, this is crazy. So I wanted to see, you film a lot of videos, a lot of the songs on your projects have videos for them. So I wanted to see, like, where do you get these ideas, firstly? Because there's some cool ideas that I'm surprised to see executed, one. And then two, like, how do you connect all these different videographers and editors? And how is this aspect of your career? How did that come together?
Right. This is another great question. That's something I can't just answer in one sentence. So
that's fine.
I remember Legend of Mo, I had no videos for that. I wanted to shoot a Stop Capping video. If y'all know the song, y'all know, but it didn't happen. It just wasn't like, it wasn't professionally planned. There was no, like, I didn't really know how to shoot a video back then. And then shout out Cedric Clyburn. That was the first videographer I met at NC State. What we used to do was we used to rent out equipment from the library. The library has cameras and tripods and all the shit, lighting. So we would just rent that stuff out. And before you knew it, we had the With Me video. That was just like, I feel like that's a lyric video now. Looking back, I'm just like, wow, that is a meme video. Like, that was the first. And then obviously, we got a little bit more serious. We shot Chinatown. Chinatown was the jump. I was like, usually when we shoot our videos, what I'll do is, before we shoot the video, I'll just look around the city, whether it be Charlotte or Raleigh. I'll be like, that spot. Mental note.
Okay.
That spot. Oh, I love the colors in this spot. Yeah, that's the vibe. Like, I just log places in my notes and I'll be like, let's go back out here. And then from there, it's just like, it's really no preparation. I just sing and dance, or just rap and dance. And the angles is so important. Shout out to Clyburn. I ended up meeting another videographer. Shout out Sleek and Simple, Matt Mims. He saw one of the videos I had done with Cedric, the With Me video. And he was like, yo, Shmoneymo, let's work. So boom, I was like, let me work with another videographer. Matt is truly a beast with the edits. He has edited a majority of the videos that I've released up until this point, since Face My Fears. He just had a crazy arsenal of equipment. He had a drone. He had experience in Premiere Pro. So not only was he like a highly skilled individual, but our creative energies just mashed together perfectly. Like, and that's part of the reason why Face My Fears is one of my most popular videos now, because that was our first effort working together. And I was like, yeah, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking for this shot, blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, oh, what about this? And I'd be like, oh, yeah. Like, it just bounces off.
Just bouncing off each other. Yeah.
Yeah. It was never really like super duper planned until recently. Like, I'd be like, yeah, we need this shot here. Like, I started directing my own videos recently, but, back when I was working with Matt, we would literally just, I know this sounds ridiculous, but we would just run into bullshit and we just start like recording, like, oh, what's going on here? Oh my God, look at this. Like, just walk around the city. Just like, I love this. Okay, stop here. Take one. All right, let's go over here. Like, I think for the pimp video was by far the most spontaneous video that ever happened. I never planned it. Like, bro, I remember for that song, Cutthroat was pushing me. He was like, yo, Shmoneymo, we got to wear pimp suits for this video. I was like, nah, not really. I was not feeling it at first. I was like, I mean, we could get fresh pimp suits. He was like, yes, bro. So I ended up taking his advice and we got the pimp suits, returned them right after the video shoot.
Yeah.
We got them and we were wearing them and just like walking around downtown Raleigh and NC State. So many weird ass looks. So many people like, what the fuck?
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. And then dude, I remember I went to go to the convenience store. That's what it was. I went to the C store, and the C store, it's on 3801 Western Boulevard. It's connected to it like a complex, and one of the stores in the complex was the barber shop.
Okay.
So I'm walking out of the C store with my stuff, and the barber is outside. Shout out Juan the barber, bro. Shout out Juan the barber. This man is outside. He looks at me. He looks at Cutthroat. He's like, "What are y'all motherfuckers doing? Like, what are y'all doing here, bro?" And like, we're just lit as fuck. We're like, "Yeah, we're shooting a music video. We're shooting a video." We were supposed to go to downtown Raleigh and shoot it. We never went downtown Raleigh that day. Like, he was just like, "You want to shoot my store?" I was like, "No way."
I'm like, hell yeah.
We finished shooting the barber shop, and then he was like, "Yeah, give me 20 minutes." So we're waiting outside, chilling. We go inside, we record the video, we chop it up with Juan. Amazing shots. Like, it was a perfect setting for our video. And then I remember we were like 3 or 4 shots in, and I was like, "Yeah, let me go outside." Cutthroat comes outside with me. We walk outside. Bro, I kid you not, the pimp mobile from the video, the pimp car, this random dude just pulls up in a pimp car. Like, we did not plan that. We walked outside, and this dude is pulling up in some huge, shiny rims, like wide body pimp mobile, bro. GTA vibes. And I'm like, I look at Cutthroat, and we just start screaming. Like, we're like, "What the fuck? This cannot be real." We're just freaking out. This dude is coming to get a haircut. He gets out the car. He sees us laughing. He's like, look at y'all. Like, I'm like, "Bro, can we please use your car for the video?" He's like, "Hell yeah. Let me get in the car and turn on the lights for you." And we were just like, "Bro, no way. We just got a fucking pimp car."
That's love, man.
And the barbershop shots. And it just came together so organically. Like, bro, I never would have thought when we stepped out that day that shit would have happened. But it gave me some of the best shots I've ever gotten in any music video, to be honest.
Wow.
So
wow. Shout out Juan the barber.
Yeah.
Really with the hookup too.
But yeah, just like some videos like Overdrive, I fully directed it. I knew what was going into it. But even then, just like random stuff will happen. Like, the energy you attract on set is so crazy. I remember this random dude on an ATV, a 4-wheeler, pulled up. He was like, "Y'all doing a car meet?" I was like, "This is a video shoot." He was like, "Bet, let me do some tricks for you." He just started drifting in the lot. He got it on drone. Like,
he's like, "All right, cool."
How did that stuff
wow, bro.
happens?
Just pulled up on you. That's what I love too. Like, just that kind of sense of just, this actually leads me perfectly. Not perfectly, but it kind of captures the same thing that I'm aiming for in the next question, because that is honestly one of the most entertaining stories I think I've ever heard on the pod. Just hearing how the pimp video came together with the barber and the car and the suits. That is one of my favorite stories that I've heard so far on the pod.
I appreciate it. Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out Cutthroat. I got to get him on the show too, but shout out to Cutthroat. Another reason that I became a fan of the music, just because that this is a sense of unity. I feel like not only while I'm listening to your music, but just like, talking to you, setting up the interview, like I could just feel this sense of like pride. Like I feel like you were very willing and able, and I feel like this is very important to you, like just working with people from your city, whether it be Charlotte or Raleigh. So how important is that to you? Just kind of that sense of pride and unity, in the city of Charlotte. I'm going to say Charlotte just for the sake of the question, right. But Raleigh as well. How important is that to you, like teaming up with creatives from these areas?
So with Charlotte specifically, it's so much going on in Charlotte. Charlotte is a business city. I'm sure you know. Yeah. Everyone in Charlotte is either working a job and has a side business, whether it be clothing, like music, podcasts, like anything. Like everyone is so passionate in Charlotte, and how could you not be? It's like the New York City of North Carolina, literally.
Literally, yeah.
Times. It's a bustling, it's a growing business enterprise. So yeah, it's so much going on. You can't help but run into people in your field. So like when I'm over here shooting a video, and for example, Joe hears and he's like, yo, let me style you for your shoot. And then he fucking, here, let me get this. Let me get this. You know, shout out Joe Cooler on the Overdrive pants.
Look at that, bro.
Yeah, no, he really snapped, but like stuff like this, like, yo, I'm making an album. Oh, what's the cover art look like? Boom, this is what it looks like. Oh, custom, like it just happens. Like you just run into people with similar passions and similar drives. That is so important. That not only helps you build your brand, but it helps them build their brand. And you guys kind of just mutual, like, oh, I work with Rock the Mic podcast, and Rock the Mic podcast works with Shmoneymo. We both benefit from that.
Right.
And then I go to Raleigh. Raleigh has a huge musical, like, just environment, like everything from producers, artists, anything, instrumental players, musicians, people who don't even like make music, they just play instruments. And it's just like you're thrown in the middle of this, you attract whatever you attract, and it just somehow works. That's the best answer I could really give, but it's so important. You cannot do this shit alone. Like, you need content, you need professional sounding content, you need professional looking content, you need the videos, the mixing, the mastering, the promotional art, the cover art, the photo shoots. Shout out Joe Cooler, does a lot of my photo shoots. Just anybody you work with that you like what they produce. I love what you do. Let's work together. That's the most important key to success, I feel like.
That's a great answer. Shout out to all the creatives in Charlotte, Raleigh. I haven't really had the privilege of really meeting anyone in Wilmington, but I know y'all are out there, so shout out to y'all. But just that, like you said, everyone that has the same kind of interests, everything, it just kind of molds together in somehow, some way. Someone sees what you're doing and just appreciates it and wants to contribute. That's something I love about what we do. I mean, obviously podcasting, I just appreciate it. Makes me feel so cool. It makes me feel so good when someone reaches out and is like, yo, I see you. Just like not even asking like for an interview or nothing, or like wanted to be on the show, or for your sake wanted to be on a song. Like, just like that appreciation just makes me feel like on top of the world, bro. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
For sure. I was just gonna say, I relate heavily to what you just said. Like, somebody just DMs me, they're like, yo, I heard your song, I saw your video. Be complete strangers telling me this, bro. I'd be like, how the fuck did you find my shit? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like some people, I used to be at a stage in my career, like this was years ago, but I used to be like, yo, go check it out, please. Send my link. Some people are not interested. Some people take forever just to click my link. And it's like, I moved on from that. And now I'm just attracting people. Like, be like, I went and found your video. I went and watched all your videos on my own. I went and listened to your album all by myself. I love these tracks. And it's just, that's for any business, that is your goal. Find people who are attracted to what you do. And, you know, you do something with this in mind, and then you put it out, and the people who have the same shit in mind as you, they will appreciate and recognize it. They're like, this took time, effort, money. I love it. Let's keep running it back over and over and over again. For sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that transitional phase where I'm like, I'm not sending it to anyone as much, but like I'm slowly getting people, yo, I see the pod, like I'd love to be on the show. Or it's like the last episode I put out, someone, because that came out like mid-December, and this is the most recent episode I recorded since, but I think someone reached out to me like right around New Year's, was like, yo, I just caught that episode, like keep it up. Like that just really humbles you, one. And two, it's just like, it just feels like, yo, like people are checking us out. Like that's crazy. It just makes it worth it. I feel like, I don't know if you relate.
Not for sure. We actually doing something out here. That's what it makes you feel like.
Yeah, exactly. You're making some noise. And so that just makes me feel like crazy. So I'm glad you feel the same way. Something I heard you mention, like when you said everything has to sound professional and look professional, one of the things you mentioned was mixing. And I see with the studio right here, I know one of the things you do is you mix for people. And I've heard from a couple different artists on how difficult that might be. So let's talk a little bit about mixing. How is that as painful as some people, and mastering too? I don't know if you master as well, but is that something that's as painful as it's made out to be?
Mixing and mastering is definitely the most painful part of the music process, and I'll tell you why. So I hear a beat. Usually, like the way the music process is, I always hear the beat first. It's never like I write some shit to some nothing. Maybe I'll have a clever bar, but like I need something. Me personally, I need something to hear first. So I hear the beat. I hear the bars in my head. I record the bars that's in my head, but just for whatever reason, sonically, it may or may not sound like what I had in my head. And I'm like, why doesn't it sound like, why are the frequencies not hitting? That's literally what it is. So I came to realize, I was like, there's industry standard loudness. There is industry standard effects. There is like such thing as too distorted or too echoey, or just you're going for that clear, punchy sound. And it's so important. Like I remember when I first started, I didn't mix my shit. I mixed it, didn't master it. That was Legend of Mo. Mo Power is my first mixed and mastered effort. And again, shout out Shmoney. He was doing a majority of the mixing and mastering. And then come Overdrive, that's when I started mixing my own vocals, adding my own vocal presets and stuff like that. And yeah, like I think I mentioned, I used to record in another dorm room with no sound canceling.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I scream, you hear that echo.
Yeah.
The back bounces back into the mic, and you know, like if you have a fine trained ear, I'm able to hear that now, and I'm like, fuck, there's some echo. And you know, you can do anything from EQ sweep it. There's pedal boards. There's channel EQs. There's a lot of tools. And then obviously moving to the booth, you know, this cancels out all the sound. This is 2 layers of sound treatment, so that definitely helps. Mixing, I'd say I've been mixing for about 2 years on and off, and I think I've got it down to my own specific formula. So mixing, just like what I like to do, I like to balance everything. I like to make sure you can hear the beat, you can hear the claps, the bass, you can hear your voice. It's not too loud, not too quiet. It's just kind of like it's an art in and of itself that you have to learn. So yeah, recording process and mixing process, definitely I've got the hang of that now. I don't do mastering. Commence the Attack, who does the beats for my studio, also does mastering. And shout out Shmoney, he does a majority of the mastering. He mastered Step Back, mastered Overdrive. Mastering is kind of just taking my mix and bumping it up to loudness. So it's like, wow, when I play this song on Apple Music, it's the same loudness as any other song on Apple Music. That's very important. How hard is it hitting? So it's definitely a pain.
Right.
And you know, sometimes I've thrown away songs because I'm like, nah, this is just not sounding how I wanted it to sound. And that's cool. Like it's bound to happen. But now it's gotten down to a science of record, mix, okay, boom, schedule a mastering session, boom, done, song is done. And now it's just quick and easy. It was never before.
Okay. Well, and regardless, it's something I feel like you have to be kind of precise with, because like you said, it's like you just kind of leveling everything. You got to make sure the beat is and the vocals and everything sounds right. But I mean, like you got it down to a science. I mean, it sounds like it's like just a step by step. It's like, all right, let's get to the next song. Like, okay, locked in is mixed. I'm gonna send this to Commence the Attack to master. Let's pull up toe tag, for example, or just keep on keeping on.
Exactly.
That's something I noticed. Another thing I noticed while I was listening to your stuff, a lot of songs that you have are on SoundCloud, but they're not on streaming. So a couple songs that I can name off top, Range Rover, With Me, Ice on Ice. Like these are songs that, yeah, that's a throwback right there, isn't it?
Oh my God, bro.
So those are on SoundCloud, and I don't want to say they're quote unquote like throwaway singles, but not only are they on SoundCloud, or there are even some on streaming as well that are just singles that you dropped. I feel like, I don't know. That's what I'm really trying to ask. Was there a reason why they didn't end up on any projects? Were they released just to kind of build hype for said projects? Or what's the goal behind those?
I'm glad you brought up Ice on Ice, man. Bro, if anybody watching knows what Ice on Ice is, you are a day one Shmoneymo fan. I fuck with you, because because that's just like that's something in the archives. But anyways, that was my second song I ever dropped, Ice on Ice. I had dropped Subi Jeans with Faisal. That was my first official SoundCloud release. Then Ice on Ice. Then I released Stop Capping. Those 3 songs on SoundCloud were literally just me putting out stuff, figuring out what do I like to rap on? What does song sound like? Like it was never really too much promotion planned into it. It was just kind of like, oh, let me just put out something. These glasses are giving me a headache. So those songs, and then again, Range Rover With Me, all of those were recorded on my phone. Right. So the last song that I ever released that was recorded on my phone on GarageBand was With Me. So like I said, the songs that I recorded on my phone, they weren't mastered. With Me was never mastered. Range Rover was never mastered. Even though you can play them, they sound great. Just like sonically, they're just not mastered. So
right, especially now what mastering sounds like. You can just hear the difference.
Yeah, I can very much hear the difference. And originally I was gonna put With Me and Range Rover on Mo Power as like bonus tracks, but then I heard the sound quality and the new tracks I recorded versus those two, and I was like, it's time to just move on. So I kind of just left them there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just the change in quality was what determined, all right, I'm gonna leave these here. SoundCloud era.
Gotcha.
Albums.
Okay. That's a good answer. I didn't even think about it like that. I mean, I guess as someone that doesn't really like delve into the mixing side of music, I guess I kind of, now that I've heard your perspective, I kind of get it now. But
consistency.
Yeah, I see growth as well.
Right.
Let's talk. So this is hard, actually. I usually struggle with narrowing these 5 down for every artist I talk to, but a top 5 Shmoneymo songs for me personally, I would have to say would be Overpowered. This is in no order, by the way. Yeah. Overpowered, Overdrive, Toe Tag, Face My Fears, and Pimp are definitely my 5. And Pimp, honestly, is moving up just because of that story with the video. That makes me want to listen to Pimp even more.
Yeah.
But those are my top 5. And I know it's hard because you got a lot of great songs, but if you had to narrow it down to 5, and if it's too hard, you can do 3. Yeah. What would they be?
Wow.
For your list.
That's a great question. Let me look through my discography. Step Back is definitely in the top 5.
See, I almost put Step Back in top 5, but I was like, it's been out because it's only been out like a couple of weeks. So I was like, I don't know if it's top 5, but I love Step Back.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I had finished recording Step Back like in October. I just never. It was just fault. So I'd always play it when I felt low on motivation. So that's just why. I also think my latest work is my best work. So that's why I'd say Step Back. Step Back, definitely. I'd say Step Back, Eat Dust. I recorded that.
Great intro.
Yeah, I recorded that on New Year's. Like it was on Christmas of last year, not this year, or not last Christmas, the Christmas before that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I heard that beat. Shout out, Graduated in '88, and I just felt like talking my shit, and I really freestyled that whole song, Eat Dust, bar for bar. So that was very organic. So Eat Dust, Step Back. I'd say Accident. I grew to like Accident a lot because it holds a special place in my heart. Because again, I almost got kicked out of my dorm room sophomore year for playing my music too loud. I remember I had recorded half of Accident, put it down. I was like, I don't know where to go with this. I just leave it. Then I got that noise complaint. I had to write an apology essay. I was just facing constant like harassment from my RA. So I was like, that's the motivation song. And I finished the fucking song. So
hating on you. Wow.
Exactly. I'd say Daydreaming too. So
Daydreaming was a good one. Yeah.
Back, Eat Dust, Accident, Daydreaming. I love Daydreaming. It's just like that one was so effortless to make. And then I definitely would say Face My Fears or How I'm Feeling for the 5th one. Two very personal songs off of Mo Power.
Yeah, I remember listening to Face My Fears and I was just like, wow, I was like, this is kind of hitting right now. Listen to that. That's what you're going for.
We can go toe to toe if you wanna. I don't got any time for the the drama. Came from the desert, I am an iguana. I got a dime piece from Havana. I hit that bitch once, I'm a goner. Won't get no flowers, she ain't getting fauna. Nigga, you lame, you ain't my partner. I want a milli. Shout out to Carter, shout out to Carter, shout out to Weezy. Get on the beat and I'll make it look easy. She talking shit, now that bitch wanna eat me. She suck me dry like a motherfucking squeegee. I'm from the 4.
And I wanted to put Step Back in the 5 just because I've been listening to it a lot, but I'm like, I don't know if it's a recency bias thing, but I was just like, I can't put it in 5. But it's definitely number 6, I feel like.
Yeah, you gotta get time to grow on you. That's what music is.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember Toe Tag. I'll just talk about all 5 of them real quick for me. Overpowered, obviously, first one I heard. Lloyd, the Nas Cole beat. So obviously I gravitated towards that. A lot of these I feel like are the videos, and they all have kind of the same answer. The video / the energy. Overdrive, the video is what really gravitated me towards that. Toe Tag, just the energy and the delivery on the track. Face My Fears, it was really a nice storytelling, like introspective, just like really nice track just to really make you think. And then Pimp, the energy, the video, Cutthroat, it's just all of it. I was just like, wow. I was like, this one is hard. So that's my personal list, and I think you have a pretty well-rounded list.
Yeah,
So what?
I think that's a great list.
Appreciate that.
Sure, thank you.
I try to. It was of course, I try to make it well-rounded as well. So trying to have a little bit of everything. So what's next? This is what we're gonna end off with. What's next for Shmoneymo? I mean, Overdrive just came out in May. Or it was May, right?
Yeah, it came out.
Okay, yeah, just came out in May, and then Step Back obviously just came out, and like we said, Step Back is kind of the energy and the vibes that we want to shoot for this year.
Right.
What else can we expect from you throughout 2022? You're still young, so what else?
It's a blessing to be this young. I'd say my main goals for this year are amping up the studio booth business. I do offer recording and mixing for artists, so that's a big part of it. I'm trying to make more money in the music field. So definitely the booth. I'm doing pop-up shows now, so I have my own DJ set. I have my own mic set. I'm trying to find spaces where I can just anywhere with an outlet, just plug in and just play my music. I have a set list. So this year I'm really trying to spread my music to new ears. I'm trying to get it around. I'm trying to get more business savvy. And I also have a new album dropping this year. Step Back is the lead single to it. Yes, that is really the vibes. The vibes of this new album is synth, dance, energy, spirit, music, just like very much on the positive side of things. But there will be some hard hitting bangers, the classic bangers. And I can't wait to share with you. Just bigger and better this year.
That had me excited. And I saw a couple of the pop-up shows. I think I was gonna go to one that Lloyd was showing, but I think I had to work or something.
Yeah,
but when I was in Charlotte. Yeah, man, I gotta pull up to one of those soon. Maybe when we're both back in Charlotte, I can pull up.
Yeah, but, sure.
That's exciting, man. Pop-up shows, new album. And I mean, are you hopping on other pods too? And other interviews?
Yeah. So I actually shout out to After Lunch Podcast. I had just shot with them last night.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Instagram, I think.
So I was shooting with After Lunch Podcast. And then shout out Perplex. Perplex is a clothing company based out of Charlotte and Raleigh. They also have a podcast. It's called the Living Perplex Podcast. Me and Lloyd hopped on that the same day of my first pop-up show. So in January alone, I've hopped on 3 podcasts, including yours.
Okay.
And it's really just a blessing to have this many opportunities lined up. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just to generate, that's the same thing. You're getting more business savvy. So it's like just trying to get everything in a bunch of different places, your new music everywhere. You got it on this podcast, this pop-up show, Rock the Mic. I think that's something that a lot of artists don't really realize when it comes to making podcasts. And I think I actually talked about this with Lloyd too, is that it's kind of an opportunity not only to make connections, but you're putting yourself out there for new audiences. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when they're putting these shows together. Well, the host does, but I don't know if the artist does. And clearly you do. And you got your mind in the right place. You got that vision. I appreciate that. Lloyd just DM'd me. That's funny. Anyway, but Yeah, I'm excited for new Shmoneymo. Step Back is, listen to this, guys. Listen to Step Back. If you haven't already, go listen to Mo's old stuff because he's coming and we're coming in hard for 2022 because this is going to be a good year for everybody.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all I got for you. Do you have anything that you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to sign off with?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, bro, again, I think the opportunity to just be on a podcast and be asked good questions from someone who is invested in your music, it's very much a great opportunity to express yourself and kind of to give listeners a new side of the artistic side of you, you know, not so much from music, but like, what is this person like? What does he talk about? What is his dreams and aspirations? So I want to thank you for this opportunity. This is actually what keeps me going. And it's like, when stuff like this happens, I'm like, oh yeah, we working, and it motivates me to keep going. So yeah, just, you know what it is. 2022, we got new content coming from all different avenues. And I'm excited to see what you got coming up too, for sure.
I appreciate that, man. And that's what I said. It's the same thing. It's a mutual beneficial thing. Just keep everybody going. So shout out to you for coming on the show. If y'all are listening, go check out Shmoneymo on streaming, SoundCloud, his social medias. All that will be in the description below. Is YouTube as well, because he's got some sick videos as well. If you're a Shmoneymo fan joining us for the first time, or if you're just someone new joining us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to us. Leave a like on the video, follow us on our social medias and all that stuff. Those will all be in the description as well. And that's all I got for you guys today. This has been Mike from the Rock the Mic podcast, joined me once again by Shmoneymo. Episode 12, and we out.